Streaming.
Okay, guys, welcome to science. We're going to cover scientific method again. And so if you look up at the top, there's 6 words. There's compare, substance, inference, qualitative, contrast, and quantitative. Okay, so those are going to be words we're going to get familiar with. So I want to read this, and then there's some exercises, and we'll talk about these. So it says, Cassie was sitting in her living room of her grandmother's apartment. Her grandmother had gone out, and Cassie was waiting for her friends to come over. The doorbell rang, and she jumped up to open the door for Tina and Hong. Thanks for coming. I forgot my grandmother's birthday is tomorrow. I want to bake her a cake as a surprise. She's out for a few hours, so we have to get to work quickly. Good thing you called. I remember the last time you tried to bake a cake. It was awful. Please tell me you have a recipe this time. Give her a break. I'm sure she needs a little help. Let's go in the kitchen. What's the recipe? We need flour, sugar, and baking soda. Grandma keeps the baking supplies on the 3rd shelf. Can you see the box and hand me the right ingredients? They're just a bunch of plastic containers, and the label is definitely not in English. Grandma usually speaks Russian. That must be what's on the labels. We just have to figure out which box holds the ingredients. How do we do that? What if we mess up? Cass, you can't even bake a cake when you know what's what. Come on, let's open all of them. I bet we can figure it out. So we took the containers off the shelf and then put them on the counter and opened each of them. Tina took 2 containers and carefully compared them. This is not going to work. The boxes each have a white powder in them. Flour is white, so are baking soda and sugar. Now what? Well, sugar should feel different from flour. Let's see if we at least figure out which is sugar. Hong thought this would be a good qualitative observation. Cassie put her hand in the first box, and the substance felt rough. In contrast, the powder in the second box felt smooth. I bet the first box is sugar. How can you know? You only tried 2 boxes. What about the others? Hong agreed that Cassie should make an inference about the box until she tried all of them. Cassie touched the powder in each box. Only one felt grainy. The first box is definitely sugar. 3 boxes to go. What now? Grandma said we were running out of baking soda. Let's look at how much is in each box. Tina noticed why 2 of the boxes were full. The third was filled only to the line marking 1/2 of the box. Tina decided the half empty box was baking soda. So which of the boxes is left? Flour. What if we taste them? No. My grandma told me that sometimes she keeps rat poison in the pantry. Don't taste anything. Gross. I don't want to eat rat poison. We figured out 2 boxes. There must be another way to figure out the last 2. Let me think a few minutes. Think fast because Grandma will be home in 2 hours. They're looking at 3 ingredients. Okay, so one's going to be rat poisoning. So it says being able to carefully make observations in science is very important. You might need to figure out what a mystery substance is, or just tell your friend what the weather is like outside. You can make qualitative observations like color, shape, and smell. To learn more, sometimes you have to make quantitative observations like weight or temperature. By observing closely and making inferences, you can find out all kinds of things about the world. That's what scientists do. Okay, so that was just an experiment about, obviously, most of us know sugar is grainy. So, and, I think most of us could, from the eye test, tell the difference between sugar, flour, and baking soda. Baking soda and flour might be a little more difficult. But what they did is they knew that the baking soda was only half full. So basically, they just did like an experiment there, and they just, based on their knowledge, they were able to figure out what ingredient was which. And talk about the scientists do sometimes. Okay. This is just questions about the characters. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. So this is observations and inferences. So Cassie observed the powder was white and grainy. She inferred the powder was sugar. What does it actually mean? So in observations, basic information you get by seeing, feeling, hearing, tasting, or smelling. An inference is something you think is is true based on observations. So the observation was the powder is white and grainy, and the inference is powder is sugar because you could see and feel the sugar. That's how you know, basically, once you do that observation, your inference would be the powder is sugar. Another observation, the animal has 4 legs and barks. You can see and hear, so that's a dog. Then another observation, there's a smoky smell outside. The neighbor's having a barbecue. Aaron's not in class today. This inference is really broad. Maybe Aaron has the flu. Okay, so you observe, then you make an inference. Okay. And these are the 2 different ones you do. You do qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative is anything that doesn't use a number or measure. For example, the sun is bright today. That'd be a qualitative. Quantitative is based on using a number or a description, weight, measurement. So the qualitative in this is the dog is 78 centimeters. If you had like a measuring tape or something, that would be a qualitative observation. Qualitative is basically anything that doesn't use a number. That's why it says the sun is bright. So let's look at this chart right here. So it says practicing qualitative versus quantitative. And I'm going to go down to let me see where those answers are here. Did I go by the answers? Okay. So things that you can quantitative, the dog is 83 centimeters tall. The dog has 2 ears. Dog has 4 legs. There are 3 spots on his neck. Those are all quantitative. Qualitative basically doesn't use any identifying factors. The dog looks young. There's no spots on his leg. The dog looks healthy. There are black spots. So quantitative are things you can actually see and tell, like the 2 ears, 4 legs, 83 centimeters tall, spots on his neck. Quantitative, you're just kind of, so he's young, healthy, happy, sad. Those will be all qualitative things. Okay, so that's a big difference between qualitative and quantitative. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. And here are the answers. This would be another experiment you would do. You can look through this. So let's look at this. It says, several years ago, a member of Congress received a letter that contained a dangerous powder. After that, people thought it'd be funny to play jokes and put powder in the hallways of bathrooms. Imagine your class is visiting Congresswoman DC when someone played one of these jokes. Your congressman is stuck in his or her office with your class until the mystery powder in the hallway is identified. He is supposed to be in an important meeting and is wondering what's taking so long to identify the mystery powder. What would you say the Congress about identified involved in the mystery powder? And this goes back to that basic experiment we did. You're not going to taste it because it's like a dangerous chemical, you're going to kill yourself. Okay. So basically you'd make some observations and then inferences. And it asks how you do careful observations. You know, a lot of us have phones now, so we could even probably take a picture and Google it. And then you're going to look at qualitative and quantitative. So if it's grainy, things like that. And then it says, why is it important to make several tests? Because this powder could kill you, just like the rat poisoning. You know, you want to make basically several tests before you decide what it is, okay? This is a writing prompt. You certainly don't have to do that, but just so you get the idea. Okay. And these are the definitions. So compare. So to compare is to examine two or more things and tell how they're the same or how they are different. So in English class, we compared the main character using a Venn diagram that showed how they were alike and how they were different. Okay, that's how you compare. Contrast, it's two or more things focusing on their differences, the difference between two or more things. So the essay question asked us to contrast the two poems. One was happy, upbeat poem, the other was sad. Miguel thought the quiz was real easy. Charlotte thought the quiz was impossible. So you're contrasting two people's opinions there, two poems. Substance is a physical material you can see, touch, like powder or gel. An inference, it's when you draw a conclusion based on evidence. Okay, so if we go back to basically, we talked about our car not starting. If you put gasoline in your car and it starts, the inference is it was out of gas. Okay, because you drew a conclusion based on evidence. The evidence was I put gasoline in there and the car started. Okay, so that's really what an inference is. Now here is qualitative. It describes observations that do not have numbers, for example, size, color, shape. In science class, my partner Jared collected qualitative data by writing down color and texture of three different substances. So, if you had like sugar, sand, and maybe dirt, okay, they're all going to be a little bit different in color. They're all going to be a little bit different in texture. In quantitative observations that use numbers, I collected data by measuring the volume and weight of three different substances. So you could actually weigh, the sand, the dirt, and whatever it was, what I say, gravel. I don't think it was gravel, but you get the idea. You can weigh them, and that's quantitative. Okay. Qualitative is more the color, texture. Quantitative is actually a hard fact. Like the dog is 78 centimeters. That's quantitative. Okay. So these next two are just basically definitions. So there are 8 words, and you can just fill in the blanks right here. And same thing right here. There's 6. You just have to read these and put the correct answer in there. And then when you get down here are the answers. So if you have a hard time, the answers are right there. Okay, that's it for today, you guys. I'm going to start reading here in about 15 minutes. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.